Hey everybody, Steve. I'm going to talk real fast because I'm going to be as short as I can. I created this website. It's very much the infant stages, but I needed a place to post what I promised you I was going to post last week, some rules in dealing with leads. So I'm going to jump right into these rules, and hopefully everyone can start kind of following these rules. Number one, never ever unassign a lead from another staff member. You can unassign your own lead by coordinating with another staff member, and they can assign it to themselves. Or sometimes the Jamie or myself, or maybe even Albert, might unassign it because it's the right thing to do, and we'll try to smooth everybody over. But I think it sends a bad message when somebody just arbitrarily shows up and unassigns it from one staff member and assigns it to themselves. I think that's creating some problems, even though sometimes it might be the right thing to do, but it's just creating problems. And so again, number one, don't unassign it. Go through us. We'll let us handle it. If it's the right thing to do, we'll do it. But if not, then we just have to deal with it. So number two, don't delete any leads, because I already said we have the dormant dead leads pipeline. Transfer it to one of those columns there. I'll go over a little bit more about that when I'm doing a ClinchPad tutorial. There's the 3-hour rule. I keep meaning to change it because it says 4 hours in one place. I think maybe one place. It is a 3-hour rule. Everybody remember 3-hour rule. 3-hour rule is that people have kind of their territory, and they have exclusive rights there, first shot at it. But after 3 hours, now listen to me, 3-hour rules. After 3 hours, all is fair game. After that, matter of fact, I'm asking you not to let our leads die on the vine. We want those leads called as soon as possible. I was thinking about making it a 1-hour rule or even a 2-hour rule, but I said, well, 3 hours is enough. And so, and then I was actually thinking 4. So I kept shifting back and forth. I think 3 is the perfect amount of time. So let's go to 3A. Do not take a lead is in another staff's territory, at least for 3 hours. See, again, after 3 hours, territory doesn't matter necessarily. Matters a little bit. We'll talk more about that in a second. But it's fair game at that point. 3B, if a staff member does not take a lead that is in their territory after 3 hours, not 4 hours, the lead is fair game. Just remember, there's an activity log, and we want you to take it 3 hours, not 2 hours and 50 minutes. 3 hours, 3 hours and 1 minute, preferably. So please wait the full 3 hours. Rule number 4. Call new leads immediately and input as many notes as possible. Notes are your friend. Very important we have these notes, because it starts to look like you're neglecting a lead if you're not leaving any notes. You can do shorthand. You can say it real quick. Sometimes if you can go elaborate, that's better, but I don't want you saying, oh, I don't have time to put all those notes in there. Just go shorthand. Just say, I left a message, or something like that. But the notes are your friend. It's very important, because if you're not leaving notes, kind of the assumption is that you're not doing anything with those leads. You're letting them rot on the vine. Failure to properly follow up with a lead might result in that lead being reassigned. Again, how are we going to know that? How are we going to determine that? Well, if there's no notes, that means you're not calling in our book. So all leads in the inquiry interview pipeline must be contacted at least, please stress, at least once a week. Okay, we think some leads may need to be called not only once a day, but maybe twice a day, or even 3 times a day. I know not day after day after day, but in most cases I would say twice a week. But there may be, we are leaving some of this to your best judgment. Use list view to help organize. I'll talk more about that when I go over the ClinchPad tutorial. So those are the rules right there. I'm going to give you a little bit of understanding some of the considerations that cause us to try to make these rules. Number one, we do want to, if at all possible, the bigger pictures, we would like the client, the prospect, to kind of do the interview in the place that they feel most comfortable, the area they feel most comfortable, and the office they're most likely going to work out of. We don't necessarily want a Smyrna agent going all the way to Snellville for the interview. That just sets a bad vibe, I'm telling you. We don't want to do necessarily try to cut corners and try to sell them on the phone. Sometimes that's what we have to do, but in most cases we're using the phone just to set the appointment. Um, the leads need to be called as soon as possible. We've learned in a lot of these leads group that within 5 minutes is what's best. Keep in mind, a lot of these prospects are hot when they're submitting their form or calling, and we want to call them back and keep that energy, that momentum going. We let 24, 40 hours, 80 hours go, they may rethink their whole situation. Had our staff been more diligent and called them, then and they may be calling other people. So please, it's so important that we call these people ASAP. That's why we're going to probably reassign it from you and put it to someone else if we feel like that other person's in better situation to call them. We want the staff member with the best mindset to handle the calls, because some of the people are just really, they're too busy, they're stressed out, they're on vacation, they're sick. I can I can probably list 10 other things that are kind of knocking people off their game. Most of these are legitimate. We're not upset because this is happening. You just need to understand, if you're on vacation, be on vacation. Let the other staff handle it. Don't let our leads die on the vine. Enjoy your vacation. And we want you to enjoy your vacation and tune out because you need it. So we're just trying to keep. We like a little bit of competitiveness. I'm not sure that's the right word, but we want people to be high on their game and focused and hungry. But we don't want an exceedingly competitive environment. We want to maintain teamwork, a cooperative and collaborative environment. So that's very important. So all those played into those rules that we went over. So a couple other clarifications. Let's do this real quick. The concept of teamwork and fairness over individual desires. We want you to see the bigger picture. And so that's why we've made the rules and territory to begin with, because we're trying to keep good energy and teamwork. But also keep in mind that the company has invested about $250 for every inquiry that comes in. So we look at two $100 bills and a $50 bill there, and we're not really wanting to play around with that. And so a lot of people, they're not in position to really work them to the level they need to be worked. They may think that they're entitled to that, and we're saying that you're really not entitled. That the company's needs come before your needs, and even the prospect's needs come before your needs. Your needs are important, don't get me wrong, but we have to go in that priority. So interviewers should do all they can to determine the territory of the lead prior to contacting them. If you find that they're not in your territory, then assign them to the rightful person. Make a text. Let's be team players on this. Generally, just a clarification number 2 is we're just really not big on just reversing a lead for the sake of reversing a lead. So a couple understandings here. We do expect you to be a little bit proactive, possibly time blocking some proactive approaches. We're going to have a kind of a workshop to determine what are some proactive approaches we all can be doing, because we can't guarantee that that everyone's going to be rained on with these inquiries through the CRM. So sometimes we might have to generate our own leads. Well, that's a little bit about it right there. One other clarification I want to kind of set up. I don't want people trying to sell them on the phone if they're in fact wanting to go look at another location and meet a location. I don't mind. I definitely want you to sell them a little bit on the phone, but turn them over to that particular person. Now, also keep in mind that if somebody comes and visits an interviewer at that location and they have another location in mind, they might want to go visit over there. Don't try to steal that prospect away. Sometimes it is a 50-50 thing. Right now, we're not giving 50-50 credit on them. Maybe we'll look into doing that in the future. But just everyone. It's a team sport. You may have to do some selling on a prospect that you don't necessarily get credit for this time, but somebody will return the favor the next time. Anyways, I hope everybody understands. Please review the rules again. VPRsalesmarketing.wordpress.com is the site. VPRsalesmarketing.wordpress.com. I'm going to get a shorter domain Again, keep in mind this is a hastily thrown together thing. This is just a place where I can post this stuff so you guys can always go back and look at it. Thank you again for watching this video, and let's keep doing a great job. Y'all are doing an amazing job. I got a great sales staff here. We're trying to do the best we can to keep the marketing going. I appreciate everything you're doing.